Do you want to level up your systems or your processes inside your business or agency? Or do you already have good systems and processes, but you want to level up the people that execute on them, or even your own performance or the performance of your team? Then listen up, because I just uploaded this mastermind recording where I gave a workshop and a speech about exactly that topic, how you can use systems as well as your own productivity and the productivity of your team to help you scale to the next level. Check it out.
What do you think are the most important factors to scale your business as a business owner? We heard energy, know your numbers, right?
There are two main areas. We have systems, okay, that we are going to focus on business strategy, best practices, product and offer, documentation and processes, and the part that I love most, automations, okay?
Yeah, so exactly, that's this very technical side of the things, right? Also where it fits in, know your numbers, have all the insight. But then there's a different area, which is so all about the execution area, right? It's really about how can you use the information and the best practice that you have for your business and actually implement it. And it's the whole area of being productive, managing your time well, having good focus, having that energy, the health that you guys mentioned, people that Philip mentioned, right? Organizing yourself, leading your team. All of these things fall into that category. And now let us tell you a little story. That is a story of two men. And that story started exactly 1 year ago in this hotel and in especially this very room. So I want to ask you guys, who has been here 1 year ago in the last workshop? So, and of the 5 who were here, who of you guys has seen the presentation of Marcel? Yes, perfect, you've seen it. So just for the guys who weren't here 1 year ago, Marcel gave an amazing presentation about how to systematize your prospecting. And at the end of the presentation, we had something like this, right? Where it was really awesome to see all the systems that you can implement, automations, processes, and so on. And at the end of the presentation, many of you guys asked the following question.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, a lot of people were doing the question like, how long did it take you to build all the systems? Marcel, how do you organize all this while managing your agency? When do you create these processes? Morning, evening? Yo, bro, do you even sleep? LOL. No, but the cool thing was that after my presentation, it was Kilian's, and Kilian was answering all these questions. Like, for example, I said the deep work, really, really important in order to create all the systems, SOPs, processes. And then Kilian came with his presentation after mine, and he was explaining everything about having good performance.
It was total synchronicity,
Yeah.
The universe worked together. It put us directly after each other, because then it was my presentation, kind of like standing here, and we totally talked about how to structure your day and prioritize, how to have more energy, how to have more focus, less distraction, how to organize yourself well. For example, also talking about how Marcel was able to create all this deep work to create those systems, those processes, those SOPs, and so on.
Love was created. And well, he has a really cool program, okay, consistent performance. And I decided, like, if I want to create more systems, more processes for my agency, I need really good performance. So I joined his program, and afterwards he said, okay, I need systems, I need processes in order to scale my business. So he joined my program, the Plug and Play Systems, and then we started to have a really good collaboration, relationship.
Yeah. And so along the way, we had a very big realization that I want you guys to think about as well. Because let me ask you a question. How much is it worth it if I give you just the best strategies, the best info on how you can systematize your business, but you never get to it, you never implement it because you're so stuck in your day-to-day, you're so distracted, and you actually never adapt it to your business. In the end, all this info is not worth much if you don't implement it.
Yeah, and the same. If you have like really good energy, you wake up like really early, have a really good diet, but you don't have the good systems, the right strategy, then you are not going to be able to scale your business.
And just as there's this famous quote by, you guys probably know James Clear, he says, you do not rise to the level of the goals that you have in your business, but in the end, you fall always to the level of the systems or the habits that you have as the business owner. And that's why, Marcel?
Well, you need both. As we mentioned before, we need systems and we need execution. We need to execute all the systems, all the processes in order to scale your business.
And who of you guys knows Dragon Ball? Because there's the famous fusion, right? If you fuse, if you merge systems and performance, do you know what's gonna happen? Do you know what's gonna happen?
You become
This is gonna happen.
Super Entrepreneur Saiyajin 3000.
So to see this power,
We have to practice that.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And that's why what we're gonna talk about is how you can use both systems, but also your own performance as a business owner to scale to 7 or 8 figures the most efficient way possible in 2023.
And the thing is, if you are a CEO, entrepreneur, and you don't have the systems in place, or you don't have like a really good performance, then you're going to do everything. You're going to do invoicing, sales, marketing, prospecting, fulfillment, do the services for your clients, communication, onboarding, offboarding. You're going to do everything.
And the worst of that, of course, is that you feel tired, you feel stressed, you feel overwhelmed, you feel distracted, you feel unfocused and unclear. And the worst thing that we have seen a lot is that people even reach burnout, right, and neglect their health along the way.
So, with good systems and good performance, you can have deep work on the business and not in the business, work in the zone of genius, of the things that you really like, okay? Work on systematizing the business and building and managing a team.
And then, of course, you will feel more focused and energetic. You will be more relaxed and clear about what to work on, and also more organized and structured. And what I think is super important, that you have also this internal feeling of making progress.
So, 2 goals for this workshop.
First, that you have the clarity what is necessary for you to master your own productivity, but also leadership and execution for you as a business owner. And then secondly, be able to master your company's system and processes and documentations.
So that's the main topic of today, systems and performance to scale to 7, 8 figures, the most efficient way possible this year.
And then most of you guys know us. For those that don't, just a little bit about each one of us. I'm Kilian, I'm from Germany, and I have a coaching program. We have helped over 100 agency and e-com owners in the past 4+ years to really level up from the US as well as from Europe. And what we do is we help them master not only their personal but also their business organization, have more energy, have more productivity and be more consistent so they scale their business to the next level. And for us, always important, do so without neglecting their health or time for other areas. So they make more money, have more time and have less stress.
And for those who don't know me, my name is Marcel. I'm half Spanish, half Austrian. I only know three words in German, 1, 2, 3, that's it. No. I work with more than 100 companies in the past 5 years, and I have an agency of more than 20 people, and also a coaching program where I show how to implement systems, processes, SOPs in order to scale your business to 6, 7, 8 figures.
Then let's leave it at that. We're gonna use this task list in a few minutes again. The idea is that you understand what's happening right now. What are you working on? Where's the time going, okay? So what we're gonna do now is look into the future. Now let's define in 1 year, end of December of this year, what is your goal? And let's set the goal as either a money goal, which is either revenue or profit, or for some people it can also be a time goal. You know, some people say, I want to work less in general, or I want to work less on this task that I don't like to do anymore and delegate this, right? There's different types of time goals as well. So either choose a revenue or a time goal, or both if you want to, okay? And make it measurable. Put a number to it so it can be measured at the end of the year, okay? 1 minute for everybody to define that. Okay, time is up. So to make sure we see a few examples, I would like to ask you, who wants to share any of their goals? It's up to you how much you share about this. You can share a revenue goal, also just a time goal. Anybody brave and wants to share any goal so we can have some examples? Awesome, perfect. 4 hours work per day, love it, nice. Also cool, yeah. So that's more like a indirectly time goal, right? Because I guess it will help you with time, but also probably with money as well. Great number. Great. And now we have a very important part. Keep in mind the goal you just defined for yourself, because now we will ask the following question.
Really, really important to know which are the goals that we want for this year, okay? Why? Because we are going to determine which systems we are going to focus, okay? So that's why I asked this question, what system should I focus on first in order to hit my business goals faster? So in this case, how do I create my systems? I choose those systems that are really important for the business. Then I create the step-by-step, and it's subsystems inside the system. Each of these subsystems has tasks, and then tasks has SOPs, okay? So this is an example. I want to have, for example, more time, like 4 hours per day of work, or I want to hire 2 people. So in this case, I will choose the system team management, and I will focus, for example, subsystem onboarding, okay? One task of the onboarding will be send agreement, and an SOP will be step-by-step instructions on how to send agreement through PandaDoc, okay? PandaDoc is a platform. So exercise, choose for this exercise one system, okay, that you want to focus on 2023 to hit your goals. It can be team management, it can be client management, finance, and then write down all the steps to complete that systems from start to finish. And those are going to be the subsystems. What does it mean exactly? It's, for example, in client management will be like the client journey. When you get the client, like from ads, from sales, until they leave. This is an example of my agency. So this is the client journey. And then I have this one. This is the team member journey, from hiring until they leave the company, okay? And this is something I'm going to show later on, that for example, platforms like Lucidchart, you can put all your subsystems in one system, okay? So, what, 1 minute?
Let's do 1 to 2 minutes.
Okay, so the exercise is choose one system that you want to focus this year and put all the subsystems.
So what makes up this area? Basically, what makes up the area that you're trying to improve right now, and write down the area in like checklists like this to show all of that.
Okay, 1 minute. Exercise. Choose one subsystem that you have already in the business, hiring, onboarding, sales, and then design the workflow simple as possible. Add all the tasks to complete that system, okay? And the steps is draw it in your notebook. Put all your ideas in paper, don't be perfect, and then design it with Lucidchart afterwards, okay? Examples, like this is the way that I create my systems in the notebook. You can do it this way if you are like real analytical, or you can put steps like step number 1, put the job offer, step number 2, analyze, step number 3, interview, okay? And then from this, we are going to put it in Lucidchart, okay? That's the main goal of creating this brainstorming, okay? Also,
let's do a bit more. Let's do 2 more minutes.
2 minutes, okay? Yeah. So the task to create that system, okay? Yeah. For example, hiring. I'm going to put an example here of the hiring that I have in my agency.
Yeah. So either just a checklist or like a little bucket flow like this. So for example, this is how Marcel has his flow of hiring someone. You can use this as inspiration, or also help each other in your group with what you try to achieve. How would that look like? Okay, so this is for hiring. This is, for example, through Facebook groups. Just create a flow of how it would look like if you were to improve the area that you need to improve to hit your goal for your business.
You can do it like this, or step number 1, step number 2, step number 3. And as you can see, it finishes with the start of the next subsystem. That will be the team onboarding. So when we have already this, the step-by-step, then the next step is to execute it. And this is the example of one of the systems that we have in place in the agency. So the step number 1, publish job post. Okay, we publish in the Facebook groups, for example, that if we are looking for closers, appointment setters, we write a job post like this. To learn more about this opportunity, comment closer and we will send you more information. Then we have a lot of comments flooding in the job post. Then we have a template message that will go, for example, to a VSL funnel. They watch the video, if they like it, and we put the company mission, vision, what we offer for that job opportunity. They click on apply. They have to watch the video, see the documentation, and then I have an automation that when they book the interview, it will go automatically to a Slack channel where we have like the sales hiring channel, and then it will go also to the CRM, okay? But this is thanks to this system that we designed. This is the first thing that you have to do in order to execute the system, okay? So let's go to the next exercise, and it's in each task, okay? Let's do only one. Do we have, or should I? Picture, right? Okay, so let's do this because we don't have enough time. We have 20 minutes. Take a picture of this, and this is the next exercise that you can do in your house or after the event. And this is going to answer your question, okay? Like who does what? And in this task, the way I do it is, okay, I have, for example, in the outbound sales system, send personalized email. So we have the assignee who is in charge of doing that task. If it's manual or automatic, this is through Zapier, this is through this guy, okay, that is doing the task. The name of the tool, okay, which CRM, and then the sub-task. That's the way that we do it, for example, in the agency in order to create this system. So we have this. Second exercise, take a picture also, and it's to create the SOP of each task, okay? Or for those tasks that they are repetitive, okay? So what's an SOP? Well, as you can see, it's a set of written instructions that describes the step-by-step process that must be taken to properly perform a routine activity. And think of this as a playbook for how to get a task done. Why do we do this? Because then we can delegate it to the right people. So writing SOPs the old way is, for example, a Google Doc, put in all the steps, the screenshots, then we can put like several marks. That's the old way. And it's slow, it's frustrating, exhausting, and boring. But I have the solution, the new way, okay? There's, who knows Scribe here? Scribe is a Chrome extension that you install. And the cool thing is that if you do the task, it will record, it will take automatically screenshots, and it will do the step-by-step automatically for you. How cool is that? Okay, so this is the new way. And also the cool thing is that you can see how, the time of executing this task. 39 seconds, 7 steps, okay? Even you can see which tools you use. You can export it, you can put it into Notion, ClickUp, even in your website, because you have a code, and you can export it into a PDF. And the cool thing is that if you use, for example, Notion, you can save all of your SOPs and then delegate it to your team. And the emd function that has a Scribe is really, really interactive. So, for example, someone in the team will click here, get started, and will click next step, next step, next step, and they will see all the steps in order to execute a task, okay? So writing SOPs the new way is fast, productive, user-friendly, and for me, because I'm a freak, fun. So
get someone either from the team or someone external who writes down what you have described in the Loom video, and then you also don't have to write all of the SOPs yourself, right? You maybe do the Loom video, but don't write them, right? So this depends on the
like for example, in my agency, I use a lot of Loom videos, and I encourage the team hey, create a Loom video so we can put it in the academy.
Exactly, perfect. Cool, now guys, lots of systems and exercises, but now the big question is, how do we implement all of this? Who of you had this, that you were at a conference, you took lots of notes, and then comes the Monday, you come home, and then you put the notes somewhere, and nothing gets implemented? Who knows the situation? Let's be honest, guys, right? Yeah, we all had this, right? You write a lot of things, but nothing gets done, okay? And so let's figure out, why is that the case? We all have this amazing info, and in 1 year from now, is everything implemented? Maybe, maybe not, okay? So let's make sure that the likelihood gets higher. Yeah, so you already have a great idea how you do it, you have a workflow, but there's also a lot of people who things get in the way. And so because we want to analyze what gets in the way of implementing all of this, we're going to do another exercise, and that's the your ideal day exercise. So let's imagine now you go home and you think about you want to hit a goal, okay? How would your day-to-day, your workday need to look like for you to achieve that? We're not talking in 5 years laying on the beach and not doing anything, but your ideal workday, okay? So write down your ideal day from when you wake up to the end, and we're talking workdays here, not days off, and add a little timestamp, when do you do what, okay? Wake up at that time, do this, do that task, start this time, lunch break, afternoon, end work, and so on, all the way to the end, okay? So let's actually show you a few best practices, because Raphael asked, for example, yeah, what tasks should I do? How would a perfect day look like? How is it for me, right? So we have seen already that there's mainly 3 types of tasks. And the classification I do is the following. One are deep work types of tasks, and these are tasks that are without communication, where you are in the zone. So that means certainly no Slack can be involved here, no calls, no WhatsApp. You're not talking to anybody, you're in the zone, you have your noise cancellation thing on, and you're just doing something that will usually either make you more money or often also make you more time, right? Hiring, SOPs, automations, processes, even business strategy brainstorming, high-level thinking, okay? That is deep work. Then different from this is what I call focused work, which means that if you're not in deep work, doesn't mean that you're not focusing, right? You should still be structured and efficient the way you do your work blocks. But the difference is that now you do all the types of communication work. So let's say it can be an interview, someone with a new employee. It can be cold calling, it can be operations with the team meetings, team communications, okay? This is focused work. Then we have the last one of the 3, shallow work. It's the total opposite of deep work. And that's a lot of things that you just said. It's a lot of emails, Slack, it's answering requests. A client just calls you up and quickly wants something. It's very often not that it requires a lot of attention from you. It's like you just have to do something, send something, do a little thing here and there. But it sucks your attention and your time. It's also social media and many of the random calls. Now, what do we do with this here? How do we fit this into the day? All of you, depending on your life situation, might have a different ideal day. What I will show you is what works in general well for a lot of people. Depends also, do you have kids, you know? Do you have a partner who helps you with the kid, and many things. But let's just look at something together, okay? This is a setup with just example timestamps. That is a recommended setup, which is you have your wake up in the morning. You don't have to wake up at 5 a.m. Let's say you just wake up 7 a.m., not too crazy, okay? Get ready, bathroom, all of these things, do a little preparation, and then we call this one thing. And what is best practice is to think about what is the one big thing that I want to get done today that moves the needle forward for the big goal I have for my week, and therefore for my month, and therefore in line with my yearly goal. And this should be for you guys now in line with something that moves the needle forward to building systems, hiring related, team management related, SOP process related. So these activities that give you more time. Okay?
And for example, it can be like, what's the one subsystem that I can do in order to hit my goals?
Yeah.
What's the one task? You know?
Yeah, for example, writing today this job post. This is something you can do in the zone, get this thing live, or mapping out the subsystem so I know what I should do next in order to hire the right person, right? These are all things that you need focus, and if someone calls you up, you're not focused on this anymore. So that's why morning transition into deep work, that needs to be the goal. If you in the morning directly do something else and open Slack, it's over because you see a million messages and you're not gonna do the deep work. You're not gonna sit down and map out SOPs and things like that, right? That's over for that day. So the thing that you should focus on is tasks that are important but not urgent. I mean, who of you guys thinks that building systems and systematizing your business is important? Everybody, right? But would you also say that it's urgent, that if you don't do it now, tomorrow something bad will happen? No, like nothing's gonna happen. You can still manually do everything. And that's the trap. That's the problem. That's why a lot of you guys still do important and urgent things every day. And that's probably also why you could grow faster by working more on these leverage activities. Now, in the morning, you do this very often in 50 to 10 minute cycles, which means 50-minute work, 5 to 10 minute breaks, and then boom, you get back at it again. You can also have it longer if you're really in the zone. You can even stretch it to those 2-hour blocks that I showed you before. But for some people, just even having a 1 to 2 minute moving, standing up, so you're not sitting for 2 to 3 hours without moving, that's always a good reminder, okay? This is a double Pomodoro, and Pomodoro is way too short if for deep work. Because once you're in the zone and then suddenly get out of it again, that's not good. But I'm going to show you. Pomodoros are good for the afternoon when you do like easy stuff like batching emails and Slack and so on. And then very important, phone, laptop needs to be blocked out with smart app blocking. Like Beatrice said that, the smartphone, the social media and so on. Okay, and then we discussed the afternoon is more for this shallow work, communication type of tasks, all types of calls, most types of calls. Some of the calls can take place already here in the focus block. Let's say it's important team communications that need to happen early because of time zone, for example. Then it's better to do it, let's say, at 10 or 11 instead of directly at 8, right? Because that's where you have focus. Don't do calls and things like that if not absolutely necessary. Okay, and that's how you can achieve that we're going to talk about in a second. Well, it depends on your goal, but why would you need to do the sales call in the morning? Depends a bit. Do you have a sales team that can take this over? Yeah, but that goes back to something we're going to talk about in a second, is boundaries. You'd be surprised. It is certainly possible to say you do it a bit later, and even if you do 1 hour deep work in the morning and do the call at 9 or 10, what's going to happen? Not a big of a difference. Very nice point, because we're going to discuss this, how to set boundaries and how to protect that structure better. Great teaser here. So just to finish up, in the afternoon you do more of this calls, more of this Pomodoro breaks, Mark, that you asked. So that's more for the afternoon. 1 second, and then this is how this can look like, right? So let's say you have your lunch around 12:30, take a walk, and then you have a bigger block for calls and shallow work tasks. And then of course in between, you take breaks, you block them out. But this is usually the time that people can book in calls then, right? You do that more in the afternoon. The question is, how can he even reach you? How does he reach you, and why does he think he can just call you up? Does he call you at 2 a.m. at night? No. So see, there is a boundary that he won't do, right? And so then you can also get the boundary to not call you at 8 a.m. in the morning. Look, let's do this. It's a good question. We're going to answer it. Let's do it at the end because I show you a few things. And if it's still open, we discuss it later. Sounds good? Perfect. Cool. So the question is, it's similar to do what you asked, how to do more deep work, right? How to do more of that work without getting disrupted. The first thing is actually just reducing distractions in the morning. That's one pillar. The second one is to structure your week better and prioritize when I'm actually going to work on what. And then setting and holding boundaries with that daily and week structure. One example, Calendly, for example, we go into more now. Okay, so let's brainstorm this together again for each one of you so we have something to work with. Again, what are the main distractions for you and when do they happen? Let's get specific, okay? 1 minute write it down for you. What time in the day do those usually happen? Because you get really more clarity if you think about this now, okay? Write it down, 1 minute. What are the main distractions that happen for you and when usually is it coming in? So guys, now you have more awareness what's happening for you and what are your biggest distractions. And now I want to give you a few tools you can implement for yourself to make this better, okay? So, first tool, some people are still talking, you guys ready? Perfect, let's go. First tool I want to give you for your phone is OneSec. Who already uses OneSec? That's amazing, yes. So OneSec is an absolutely amazing tool by a German engineer, and it is a tool for iPhone. For the longest time, iPhone sucked when it comes to app blocking, really difficult. Freedom really didn't work well and so on. Now there's an amazing new tool called OneSec. Who of you has it that sometimes you just instinctively get your phone and open Instagram or WhatsApp? Let's be honest, who has it? We all have it, right? Sometimes you just instantly grab and what's happening. This tool prevents this because you say, anytime I open Instagram, what the tool does, it says, okay, it's time to take a deep breath first. So it starts vibrating and tells you and goes up and goes like, take a deep breath. And so you stand there and you wait and like, you breathe out. And then the tool asks you, do you really want to open Instagram? And then what you can program in is you can even have a link to other apps. You can have a link to your meditation app. You can have a link to other apps, or even just say, hey, why don't you go for a walk? And then you can say, okay, I want to do this instead. Exactly, great, I forgot it. At the top it says, you opened the app or tried to open that often in the last 24 hours. And then if you say, no, I actually want to open Instagram, then it asks your intention. You can say, bored, frustrated, tired, on the toilet, or things like that. And you can set the intention. You can say, for example, just want to post a story. And then if you click this, just want to post a story, you go into, and then while you're on Instagram, there's a blue or like a gray banner, and it says just posting a story. So if you start scrolling, you're like, oh, I actually just want to post a story. What am I doing? So this is absolutely amazing. And now I also checked, it has a feature of app blocking. So strict app blocking. That's what we teach all of our clients, to implement good routines that from the evening you block out these distractions, that it will not be possible for you in the morning to get distracted by social media, because since the evening that stuff is blocked. You go to sleep, you relax, you wake up, you're focused, transition into deep work, boom, success. I think so. I need to check again because they added new features, but I think so. The good thing is it integrates with the next tool, the shortcuts feature on iPhone. Who uses shortcuts already? Not many. Okay, this is really important because it looks a bit technical, but if you guys systematize your business, you can also systematize your phone. It's basically if this, then that. You can automatically say at this time in the evening, start the airplane mode or activate do not disturb mode so that you don't get the notifications. So
it's like a Zapier but for iPhone.
Yeah, it's like a Zapier, an internal Zapier. So you can say, don't give me the notifications, I want to focus in that time. Okay, so this is absolutely amazing. Don't only think about how can I systematize my business, systematize the most important thing, which is your attention and your focus, so you can actually implement the things into the business. Exactly, Android is much easier, but I guess most of you guys are iPhone users. Guys, then let's continue. We talked about the structures, we talked a little bit about the daily schedule, but the most important things, which wasn't answered, which was when you said client calls me up, or urgencies with the client, is the importance of structure and boundaries. First of all, guys, for the mindset, if you don't protect your daily schedule, you become part of someone else's daily schedule. That's for the mindset. You have to protect your daily schedule. Why? Without structure and boundaries, you don't have focus. Without focus, you will either not at all systematize your business or very, very slowly. Now, let's get into it. How to structure your team, how to set structures and set boundaries. You need to communicate availability to your team and to your clients. This needs to be part of the expectations that you set at the beginning of a collaboration, that it's absolutely clear that in the morning you will not be called up. Let's say, okay, these are our business hours, this is when we are available, and so on. Same thing with your team, that your team doesn't think, first thing in the morning, you check your phone and you answer on Slack. This can't be an expectation from you, okay?
And this is like really important to put it, for example, in the client onboarding or in the team onboarding, like to have a really specific place that you communicate to the client or to your team the availability of you.
Yeah, we show a few more examples how you can set this up in Notion, or some people use video platforms, right, to have these expectations set. The other thing is calendar management, of course, that goes in line by having your calendar blocked out. I see it all the time with clients that people of their team can just put in appointments into their calendar. Just, oh, someone put a call into my calendar. What? You know, similar what you said, right? Setting up Calendly accordingly so that not randomly you're available. And this is something which then goes into the mindset section. You sometimes have to ask yourself, why am I allowing this? And deep down, a lot of us have mindset blocks, or we have like the feeling we want to please others. We don't want to upset anybody. We're afraid the client will leave us, or the team will not be able. We need to control them. We need to always be there and so on. But this is mindset block. You know, you need to understand this is not necessary. You need to protect your structures first. Another little tool I want to show you is you can use certain tracking tools. That's something we use to hold yourself accountable, where you just rate, okay, how was my deep work block today from 1 to 5? At the end of the day, doing a little review of your own habits. Okay, then maybe my value activity, maybe for some people they still do part of the outbound, or they still do part of the lead generation. You write it in there and you give yourself targets and you say, how well did I hit them? Okay, this is important because then you actually hold yourself accountable at the end of the day. So now, we talked about what you need to implement these structures and these boundaries. You need organized company documentation and expectations. How do you make sure that the team member knows they're not just gonna expect you to be available in the morning? Well, because like Marcel said, in the onboarding, it was clearly communicated, it's documented. You need to be able to manage your team well, and that requires assertiveness, focus, and energy from you as a business owner. Let me give you an example. I had someone of my team members a few weeks ago send me a message on Slack saying, Kilian, I have a question. Do you have 15 minutes just for a quick call? And then I was like, no, like this was the first time. She's not that long in the company yet. And I said, I wanna remind you of our async company policy, which means if it isn't absolutely necessary, we don't directly jump on a video call. So just send me a Loom video or just write me what it is about, and I will get back to it and we talk about it. And he said, oh yeah, got it, sure, I will do it. And then I didn't hear anything back anymore. A few days later I asked, what was it about? Oh, it wasn't that important, I solved it myself. And that is sometimes what happens. That if you don't directly jump on the fires, they get solved by themselves, because people start to take ownership, responsibility, and they solve it themselves. And that is, 1 second, Mark, that is what I say when I say assertiveness. Assertiveness means Durchsetzungsvermögen, means kind of in a very positive way holding boundaries, but being respectful about it, okay? That's absolutely important.
I have a funnel, okay, that's an onboarding funnel, that's with videos, okay? And the first video in that funnel, it's welcome to Everest Marketing. And I set there the expectations, and one of the things I tell them is, hey, have respect for my team and for myself, and also respect our time.
And Marcel, you were a client of mine. Do you remember what you had to do at the beginning when you were joining the coaching? There was a document that you had to read through and sign at the end.
Yeah, that was great.
So what we do, so Marcel was a client of mine, I have the luck that I work with guys, basically guys like you who are young and they understand this stuff, right? You are also business owners yourself, right? It depends a bit on your niche. Maybe some people are more traditional. They think, oh, I can call and they have to pick up, you know? But depends a bit. That's why you have to set expectations. So when a client comes in, they get a document where it's nicely in a good way explained how we run things and what we expect from them. And they have to sign this. Sign a date and name. And don't think, the thing is you have to be strategic about this. You do this when they are in this client journey of they signed the contract, they paid the money. Nobody will ever say, oh no, we didn't agree on this, give me my money back. Will never happen because emotionally they're on this high where they're excited to get started with you and then they say, okay, I get it why you say this, let's sign this and I commit to this, okay? Very important that you have this in the client journey. Okay, that's why it's so important. Let me show you a few more examples how we run this in our own Notion. So there's other people here that are great with Notion. There's great ways of setting it up. But what we, for example, we have a section on our company, who we are, what we do, focus and goals, and so on. That's all for our team members, right? When our team members come on board, they go through this. And then inside the page, we have videos embedded. And it's like an onboarding platform, right? So let me show you a few things because it's important. One thing, who was here when Lasse gave his speech yesterday? Do you remember what Lasse said about the importance of values and culture? That you hire the right people and you reinforce that culture? That's exactly this. Because if you hire someone who is just not on that mindset of efficiency and so on, it's very difficult to, after the fact, train them. So in our hiring process, we already screen for the values. Someone that wants to join, they have to send me in the hiring process why they are in line with those values here. So we ask them open questions and later we ask them questions specifically to the values, where they have to give examples. Okay, show me an example where you showed constant improvement or where you took full ownership in a previous role. Show me an example of where you showed the highest standards, where you went the extra mile, right? Things like that. And then when they get on board, we have an onboarding system or like a video where we explain to them what that means, okay? What's also really cool, quick add-on for you guys, if you add an emoji next to the value of your company, for example, I have the trident that's from the Navy SEALs. If any guys knows the Navy SEALs, it stands for ownership, right? Taking responsibility. This little wheel for efficiency, improvement is like step by step getting better. We practice what we preach, it's the superhero and so on. And then later, when people do something awesome on Slack, you react with that emoji and say, amazing sign of full ownership, really appreciate it. And you can even use tools like the Karma bot, for example, and give people points and later they get rewards. And
like an Apple Watch or an iPad.
And that's how you reinforce a culture where people do the things that you want them to do in line with your values, okay? Let's go through a few more things. We also show our team members what we actually do in the coaching, why their work is meaningful. Super important that they understand the why. We have like working standards, you know, especially if you're a remote team. Who of you guys has remote teams? Let's take a road, yeah. Think a bit more than the half, yeah. Especially then it's important that people don't work like from coffee shops, you can't hear them if you do like a meeting or something like this, that there's high standards, for example. Then, these are the traits we expect from our team members. Attention to detail, punctual on time, keeping deadlines. And we show more examples which I don't have here on the screen. We have a list of things we don't accept. We really make this clear from the start. For example, when people make excuses, if they spread negativity, if they gossip in the team, things like that, we don't accept. And we clearly say this, so if it happens, we can tell someone about it, we don't accept it, give a warning, expect improvement, and then if it happens too often, then we have to let them go. And then this is a little thing I wanna gift you as a report or a little daily stand-up you can use in your own team. And this is basically what we do with our team members. Everybody has to do a morning check-in where they say good morning and maybe say something about yesterday, about today to make it a bit personal. And then they say, today my focus is on, what I need help with is, my next steps on that are. And then they just tag the person that they need help with. So you don't need a daily stand-up where you call and things like that. Absolutely not necessary. You can do a lot of things async, and you can 100% have weekly meetings with people for sharing the time, and you can have one-on-ones additionally. Lasse said the same thing. If you have weekly one-on-ones, you absolutely, I don't think you need daily stand-ups on top of that, especially if you have a good async company culture. And then another thing I want to show you here is an end of day review, how we run this. Everybody gives a traffic light at the end of the day and says why. This screenshot of the task board is optional, but they say the most important task I completed today was, and then personal development I did today, that's specifically for us because we have the value of practice what we preach, because we help our clients with personal development, meaning our team members should also, they say then, oh yeah, I meditated today, or I took a walk, or basically we have similar culture there. And then where I'm stuck with and things I need help with and who can help me. And then they just tag the person, and then the person on the next day, or on the, depends on when they post it, with time zone, they get to that. This is like benefits and perks, for example, at your company, you can say even in there you have like software, how they can take vacation and so on. All of that stuff can be systematized and once at the beginning can be explained to people.
So as you can see, there's a lot of things, like a lot of systems, a lot of processes, documentation. And that's why if you have like really good performance, you have the deep work block really well established, so you can work for all this and not like getting distracted with clients or team or anything, then you can develop all this. So something really important, avoid the all or nothing thinking. Start with the most important fixes first. Implement things step by step with a plan. That's why we said at the beginning, let's have a plan, let's have goals, and to see which systems we are going to start first. And obviously get support and accountability. Okay, it's really, really important because we need to know how to implement all the systems, how to get good performance, and then, as you saw before, to create like this Super Saiyajin. Okay, so conclusion. Start leveling up your own performance so that you can build the right systems and scale your business. And as we showed before, systems and performance, we get the Super Entrepreneur Saiyajin 3000.
And that's all for today. Thank you guys.